Welcome to our deep dive into the world of billionaires and their immense influence on our global systems. Today, we'll explore 7 key ways in which billionaires exert control over various aspects of our lives. From the clothes you wear to the news you consume to the very laws that govern you, their influence is often subtle, frequently insidious, and always impactful. We're going to peel back the layers of their meticulously crafted public image, the one that screams self-made louder than a room full of finance bros trying to impress each other. Over the next few minutes, we'll unpack how this concentrated wealth translates to a concentrated power that touches every corner of our world. Buckle up, Buttercup, because things are about to get real. Let's start with the obvious, shall we? The world of economics is a complex web, but some threads are more visible than others. Billionaires, by their very definition, have an absurd amount of money. We're talking about wealth that can buy islands, influence governments, and shape the future. And what do people with a lot of money tend to have? That's right, influence. Influence that extends far beyond their bank accounts. These folks often control massive corporations or hold enough shares in key industries to make a Roman emperor blush. Their decisions can sway markets and dictate trends. We're talking about the companies that determine what we buy, what we eat, where we work, and even how we access information. Their reach is vast and often unseen. This economic power translates to real-world consequences. It's not just numbers on a screen, it's lives affected, jobs lost and communities changed. Remember that time your favorite cereal brand decided to shrink the box but charge the same price? That's a direct result of economic decisions made in boardrooms, or when your rent skyrocketed, but your landlord blamed it on market forces. Those forces are often manipulated by those with the most to gain. Yeah, those market forces often have a name and they summer in the Hamptons. Their lifestyles are worlds apart from the average person. This economic control allows them to shape entire industries, often at the expense of workers' rights, environmental regulations, and you guessed it, your best interests. The impact is felt globally. So the next time you hear someone praise the invisible hand of the market, remember, there's often a very visible hand guiding it, and that hand is wearing a Patek Philippe. It's a reminder of who really holds the power. All right, let's talk about politics. Remember all that money we talked about in the last chapter? Well, it turns out it's remarkably effective at making friends and influencing people, especially those in positions of power. We're talking about politicians, of course. Billionaires have this uncanny ability to turn their vast wealth into political capital. They do this through generous donations to political campaigns, often exploiting loopholes in campaign finance laws that would make a contortionist blush. They fund think tanks and lobbyist groups, who then whisper sweet nothings into the ears of lawmakers, shaping legislation to benefit, you guessed it, the billionaires. This revolving door between the ultra-wealthy and the politically powerful creates a system of legalized corruption where the needs of the many are routinely sacrificed at the altar of the few. But hey, at least they pay their fair share in taxes, right? Oh wait. Let's talk about the news, shall we? The news is supposed to be our window to the world, a mirror reflecting the truth. That wonderful, unbiased source of information that keeps us all informed and engaged citizens, or at least that's what we hope it to be. Oh, wait a minute. Remember that whole billionaires buying influence thing we discussed? It's not just a theory, it's happening right before our eyes. Well, it turns out they're not just content with politicians. Their ambitions stretch far beyond that. They've also set their sights on something far more powerful, your newsfeed, the very information you consume daily. These media moguls have the power to shape public opinion, control narratives, and even influence elections. They hold the strings to the puppet show of public perception. They can elevate certain voices while silencing others, creating a skewed version of reality, all while hiding behind a thin veil of editorial independence. It's a delicate dance of power and influence. It's like a magic show where the magician keeps telling you it's all smoke and mirrors, a grand illusion, while also making your pension disappear. The stakes are high and the consequences are real. And it's not just about owning entire news networks. It's about having a monopoly over the flow of information. It's about controlling the platforms where we consume information. Social media, search engines, streaming services, all are under their influence. These are all controlled by companies beholden to, you guessed it, billionaires, the digital gatekeepers of our age. So the next time you're scrolling through your newsfeed, take a moment to think. Remember, you might be playing right into the hands of a billionaire's carefully curated narrative. Stay vigilant, stay informed. Chapter 4. The Altruism. Paradox, Philanthropy and Social Impact. Now, let's talk about something a little more uplifting. Philanthropy. You know, that heartwarming act of billionaires giving back to society, using their immense wealth to solve the world's most pressing problems. Isn't that nice? Well, yes and no. On the one hand, it's hard to argue against anyone, even a billionaire, trying to make the world a better place. But on the other hand, when you delve a little deeper, you start to see that billionaire philanthropy can be a bit of a double-edged sword. Sure, they might be donating millions to combat climate change, but are they simultaneously lobbying against environmental regulations that would actually move the needle? The problem isn't necessarily the act of giving itself, but the power dynamics at play. When billionaires donate vast sums of money, they get to dictate the terms, set the agenda, and ultimately control the narrative. Chapter 5. The future is now technological influence. Let's talk about the future, shall we? Flying cars, self-aware toasters, robot butlers who can finally fold fitted sheets. It's all just around the corner, right? Well, maybe. But the question is, who's shaping this future? Who gets to decide what technological advancements are made, and more importantly, who benefits from them? You guessed it. Our good friends, the billionaires, specifically those in the tech sector. These aren't your stereotypical pocket protector-wearing nerds. They're the new titans of industry, the emperors of the digital age, and their reach extends far beyond the screens we're glued to. Their companies are developing artificial intelligence that's becoming increasingly sophisticated, algorithms that shape our online experiences, and technologies that have the potential to revolutionize or disrupt entire industries. Are these advancements being developed with the best interests of humanity in mind, or are they primarily driven by profit motives? Chapter 6, The Invisible Script, Cultural and Ideological Influence. All right, let's get a little meta here. We've talked about how billionaires influence our economy, our politics, our media, even our future. But what about our culture, our values, the very essence of our collective identity, our very sense of who we are and what we aspire to be? You see, it's not just about controlling the means of production or the flow of information. It's about shaping the narratives that define our lives, our dreams, and our aspirations. And who better to do that than those with the resources to influence everything from the movies we watch, to the art we consume, to the very ideas that permeate our society. They have the power to mold our perceptions and beliefs. Think about it. Billionaires fund museums, theaters, art galleries, and universities. These institutions are the bedrock of cultural and intellectual life. They establish foundations and endowments that support specific causes, often aligning with their own worldviews and ideologies. They invest in media companies that produce the content we consume, the music we listen to, the books we read. These investments shape the cultural landscape. Now, this isn't to say that every piece of art or cultural artifact funded by a billionaire is inherently problematic or pushing a particular agenda. However, the influence is undeniable and pervasive. Chapter 7. The world is their playground, international influence. Finally, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the global stage. Because, as you might have guessed, the influence of billionaires doesn't stop at national borders. Oh no, they have passports, private jets, and enough frequent flyer miles to make a polar bear jealous. Now, we've already established that billionaires have an uncanny ability to bend governments to their will, but on an international level, their influence takes on a whole new dimension. We're talking about shaping global trade agreements, influencing international organizations, and even meddling in the affairs of sovereign nations. Their investments can make or break economies. Their philanthropic endeavors can dictate aid distribution, and their political connections can sway international relations. And there you have it, 7 ways billionaires control the world. Whether it's through economic power, political influence, or technological advancements, their reach is vast and impactful. They've created a system that benefits them at the expense of everyone else, a system where the rules are rigged, the deck is stacked, and the house always wins. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. We can challenge the status quo, demand accountability, and fight for a more equitable world. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content.